everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a lovely day so far. I hope you're managing to keep cool in this awful heat wave that we're having. I'm filming this on the hottest day of the year, so if I'm looking a little bit red, that is why. But today I am using a few new products, a few old products, testing out the new ones, giving you my first impression. So the new products that I'm using today are the Collection Lasting Perfection Putty Primer. I am not a huge primer user, but very excited to see how this is going to work. I also have the L'Oreal Infallible Matte Bronzer. I have this in the shade 250 Light, and you can see that I have swatched it. I have swatched it just on the back of my hand, but I've never used it before, so I'm very excited about this one. I've heard such amazing things about it, so I'm excited to give that a go. I also have the Collection Glow Blush. This is in the shade Bashful. This is such a beautiful colour and it has a really subtle glow to it, and I don't know if you're even going to be able to see that, but I did swatch this when I very first got it. And then the last brand new thing that I'm testing out today is the e.l.f. No Budge Shadow Stick. This is in the shade Rich Amethyst, and I'm hoping that I can do some sort of smudgy purple liner moment, but let's just see how that goes. So the other products that I'm using to make this a full face are just going to be random ones out of my collection. Some of them are newer, some of them are older. Let's just get on into it. So starting with the primer, I have obviously already done my skincare, so I'm scooping out a little bit of that. I don't really know how to use these like putty primers. I assume you like smush it with your fingers and then like press it into your skin. Let's just see. It feels very creamy, almost just like a thick sort of night cream. Feels smoothing, but let's just work this in and see how it looks. This feels really lovely on the skin actually. It does feel hydrating. It does claim to be a hydrating primer, and it does feel very nice and smooth and hydrating on the skin. Obviously my skin looks exactly the same now. I feel like that looks exactly the same, but let's see how this tinted moisturiser goes on over the top. So this is the Body Collection Glow Tinted Moisturiser, and I think I'm going to use a brush today. I can't remember, did I use a brush or a sponge when I used this the first time? I can't remember, but brush today. And I just want a little bit of coverage, but let's see how this works over the top of this primer. Okay, so obviously that tinted moisturiser is a very low coverage, but I like how those two look together. When I tried this out the first time, this tinted moisturiser from Body Collection, I thought that it was too glowy to wear just completely by itself. Now this does still look glowy, don't get me wrong. I mean, you can see it does still look glowy, but I feel like that putty primer has dialed down the glow in the areas where I put it just enough that I would feel comfortable just going out like this. When I very first tried the tinted moisturiser, it was too glowy all down the centre of the face, and I had to powder it to feel comfortable with the amount of glow, but I'm really happy with how this looks. It is obviously, when you're testing a primer, I feel like it is going to test it better, test it more, if you use a higher coverage foundation. But I like how those two are looking together. I would definitely wear these together again. So for concealer, I'm going to use one that I know and love. This is the one that's out of my project pan, so that's why I'm just using it in every single video at the minute. This is the Revolution Conceal and Hydrate Concealer. I have this in the shade C3.5. This combination, I think my skin looks so nice, and close up it looks nice as well. It's still glowy, it is still very glowy, but it's just matte a tiny little bit down the centre, but not too much. It's just, that is such a nice combination. I think my skin looks so good. It's still a little shiny down the centre, but I have a powder, so we'll try it with that. Ultra Fine Mattifying Powder with Hyaluronic Acid. Okay, so Hydromat. I've not tried this before, so let's see how this goes. It has like a mesh like stopper in the product, which hasn't worked all that well when you dip your brush into it. So that's just going to go everywhere now, isn't it? Okay. Can you see all that? I mean, I have got a fan on. Like I said, it's hot today, so how do you dip into that when all of that product just comes out? Am I better pouring it into the lid? That's a lot of powder though. Okay, let's just see how this goes. As you can see, probably from the clouds of powder in front of me, it is very, very fine. So let's just work that into the brush and tap it on down the centre of the face. Okay, so that is looking so smooth. So smooth. I'm so impressed with all of these products so far. Oh goodness me. That powder is beautiful. It's so finely milled that just went on so thinly over everything. My face doesn't feel dry at all. It just looks so natural and so smooth. So far all of these products are working together exactly how I would want them to. I did sort of powder over all of that because, like I said, heat wave. It's very, very hot today, so I want everything to last really well. That looks amazing. Okay, new favourite powder so far. I didn't know how I would like this powder, but that is incredible. To apply so thinly and make it look so natural, to not feel dry, to just set everything in, I'm really impressed with that. So this is the step that I think I'm most excited for. I'm so excited to try out this bronzer. So like I said, this is the L'Oreal Paris Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Matte Bronzer. Natural soft matte finish, transfer proof and waterproof. I said in my haul video, who needs their bronzer to be waterproof? If you can answer that, let me know. Maybe it makes it sweat proof. I just thought of that. Maybe it makes it sweat proof. Is that why? So it is quite powdery. Can you see that? I really like this bronzer. It is such a beautiful warm shade. I feel like for the longest time I have only been purchasing bronzers in like the cool shade because I've wanted something to be really sculpting, but over the last like few months I've really been wanting a warm bronzer to just use in exactly the same way as I use all of my other bronzers, but to warm up the skin rather than cool it down. I love how my makeup is looking so far, which is rare when you're using lots of new products, but this just looks beautiful. This is blending out really, really easily, really, really quickly, blending out so nicely. But like when my hair is like down how it would be, that does still look like I've got cheekbones, does still look like I've got a jaw. It has sort of lightly sculpted down the nose, looks warm across the forehead. I really like this. Very, very impressed. Obviously today I am not testing the 24-hour claim. I don't think I ever would, because 24 hours, having your bronzer on for 24 hours, I think my skin would just fall off. So won't be testing that, but that looks so pretty, so natural. The amount of pigment was really nice. It was really easy to blend out. Big fan. I'm going to go in just with the same brush as I usually do to the Collection blush, and I will hold it up again so that you can see how powdery it is. Oh, that's not too bad. That's not as bad as the bronzer was. So got some of that on there, and I'll tap that onto the cheeks. Now on the Collection Instagram and on the Superdrug website, these were listed as glow blushes, and obviously I like a glow. It says it right across the front of the tinted moisturiser that I used. I like a glow. So let's see how this works on top of an already glowy base. Set, but glowy. That colour is really, really pretty, isn't it? That just looks like a proper sun-kissed blush. Like as if I've allowed myself to go out in the sun. That looks so pretty. And it's not too glowy. I mean, it's not matte. You can see that it has a glow. You can see where it's like reflecting on the cheeks, but that's not too glowy. It's also not at all chunky, glittery. That's really, really beautiful, really subtle. I am a big fan of that. I have another shade. I have the peachy shade, but that's really, really beautiful one. So I'm quickly going to just do my brows, nothing new for that, using the Eyelure Brow Pencil and the e.l.f. Wow Brow. So I'll be back. So I'm just going to go in with a bit of lip gloss. This is the Body Collection Plumping Lip Gloss in the shade Sugar and Spice. Because my lips are so dry, I just need a bit of hydration, just a little bit. That's so much better. These lip glosses are really, really good if you've not tried them. So onto the eyeballs. What I'm going to do is firstly put a bit of bronzer through my crease, which I always like to do, and I always forget when I'm thinking about what products I'm going to use. I always forget that I do this. So let's just buff a little bit of bronzer through the crease. So that's just a little bit of the bronzer across the lids, and then I'm going in with the shadow stick, and my plan here is hopefully I'm going to squiggle this sort of across the lash line and then blend it out with a brush. This brush is stained green, but I promise you it is not green, it is clean. So let's just try it. So I'm just going to close the lid, squiggle this along, and then before it gets a chance to set, run over it with a very dense brush to smudge it out a little bit and hopefully make the colour a little bit less dark, a little bit less intense, but so you can still very much tell that it's purple. A bit like that. Yes, that was easy, wasn't it? Sort of light smoky eye. I like it. Let's do the other side now. Here's the real test. Okay, that got real smoky real quick, but I like how that looks. I like the colour of it once it's blended out more than I like the colour of it as it's just drawn on. If you didn't see the haul video that I did, I will link it here. I always forget, is it this side? I think it's this side. I will link it, but when you just draw it straight onto your skin, it's so dark. It's really, really intensely dark purple, and obviously I knew that that's what it was going to be like. Okay, I knew it was going to be a dark purple, but when you blend that out, and I will just smudge this sort of down my hand a little, that's going to a really beautiful but still rich purple colour. I much prefer that blended out colour, and also I will say when this dries it is not coming off. I had to properly scrub at my hand to get that off just with the micellar water when I did the first haul video, so you will definitely need like an oil based cleanser to really get that off without scrubbing at your eyes. So that is just worth noting. I will go in with a bit of mascara now. This is the Essence Another Volume Mascara, just better. Again, I have a whole testing video for this. Really, really like it. Spoiler. And I think that that is me done. This base makeup is honestly the most beautiful light coverage. Feels like it would be really long lasting base that I have ever used. This is such a light coverage. It just looks like my skin, but better. And I know I've said it like probably 70 times, but I'm so impressed with how all of those base products are working together. My skin, apart from this spot down here, if I just do this, my skin looks flawless, and I am so impressed. What do you think? Have you ever tried this bronzer? It's so good. That colour is beautiful. That blush works with that, like the tones just work really nicely together. I think that these base products, these three, Body Collection Glow Tinted Moisturiser, the Lasting Perfection Putty Primer, and the Revolution Pro Hydra Matte Setting Powder, I think that these three have worked together so incredibly. I am so impressed. I think that this is my new favourite base makeup for like a light coverage. Obviously there's always going to be space in my makeup routine for a full coverage, but I'm so impressed with this. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. If you have tried any of these, if you've tried any of these products that I'm wearing today, then do let me know what your thoughts were as well. But until next time, thank you so much for watching. Bye!